Hello, you're watching Nightline and I'm Nakia Basharuddin, news making the headlines. Malaysia is ready to start a new era of growth, says PM. And government will only accept offers for Plus if tolls can be abolished. We'll begin the bulletin with this story. Malaysia is ready to start a new era of growth. That is the confidence expressed by the Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, in commenting on the government's efforts to repair all the damage done to various sectors. He said this was reflected in the government's commitment to implement a number of important reforms to enhance stability, strengthen fiscal management, and increase transparency in corporate governance.
It has been 1.5 years now since the government changed. As we uncovered more and more, Malaysia's potential was squandered, but we can also now see the road to recovery ahead. The new government had been working overtime to re-energize and clean up the mess left behind.
He said this in his special address at the Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB Corporate Summit 2019 in Kuala Lumpur on Wednesday. The Prime Minister stressed that although various proactive measures were taken to address the problems left by the previous government, it did take time to improve the country's fiscal situation. Thus, the initiative needed to achieve the ultimate goal is to progressively restructure the economy based on knowledge and boost the well-being of the people, which will be a continuous effort. Tun Dr. Mahathir also expressed confidence that Malaysia is now at a high level of progress through various sources and prospects. At the same function, Tun Dr. Mahathir also urged government-linked investment companies, GLICs, and government-linked companies, GLCs, to focus on creating strong institutions and establishing the necessary infrastructure and supportive policies to fuel the nation's growth. He said in doing so, they would become catalysts that would spur the private sector and create a positive environment that would facilitate the country's socio-economic development.
We cannot cling to the current status quo. What will be an instrumental driver for the nation's growth will be corporate Malaysia implementing its role as a market changer. Government-linked investment companies, or GLICs, and GLCs must focus on creating strong institutions and establishing the necessary infrastructure and supporting policies to fuel the growth, and so doing become a catalyst that would spur the private sector.
The Prime Minister also pointed to a current imbalance in public and private sector participation in corporate Malaysia, which, if left unchecked, could prove detrimental to the nation's future. Tun Dr. Mahathir said that to build a solid and inclusive future for Malaysia, GLCs and GLICs must re-evaluate their level of participation in corporate Malaysia and recognize their synergies with the private sector, particularly towards empowering entrepreneurs. He said with a growing emphasis on Industry 4.0 and digitalization, businesses must be flexible and able to adapt and embrace change. Global rating agencies are expected to keep Malaysia's rating at investment grade A- or A3 in the near term. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said this was due to the country's institutional reforms and resilient economic growth, as well as our clear and consistent messaging to investment community.
Bila kami jelaskan tentang perlunya untuk buat sedikit expansionary, iaitu supaya kita belanja lebih sikit supaya dapat menangani sebarang kemungkinan bahawa ada kesan impak negatif hasil daripada itu perang dagang perang perdagangan. Mereka boleh terima itu penjelasan, tapi akhirnya kena lihat prestasi dari segi fiskal, dari segi angka-angka lain-lain lah.
He was met at the Malaysian Investor Relations Association MIRA IR Awards 2019 on Wednesday. Fitch Ratings and Standard & Poor's rate Malaysia at A-, while Moody's Investor Services ranks the country at A3 with stable outlook. On another matter, Lim has chosen to remain tight-lipped over the foreword that he penned in the controversial and now banned pro-China comic book Belt and Road Initiative for Win-Winism. The DAP Secretary General said this was due to a possible legal action to be taken by the author of the publication against the ban by the Home Ministry.
You tak boleh baca tak? Yang itu semua sudah ada. So ini semua ada sana. Itu kita tak nafi. Okey. So tapi yang saya sebut tadi masih ada itu peruntukan undang-undang yang akan digunakan oleh pihak itu penulisan. Biar ini berjalan dulu sebelum sebelum saya buat apa-apa komen supaya tidak akan dianggap sebagai campur tangan.
The comic book was a collaboration between Asian Comic Cultural Museum curator and former DAP member Hugh, also known as Superman Hugh, and local artist Chong Po Ling, also known as Tomato. The publication, available in 3 languages, English, Bahasa Melayu, and Mandarin, courted controversy after it was distributed to several schools. Some quarters claimed the publisher was promoting the ideology of communism and socialism. The government will only accept private companies taking over Plus Highways if they can guarantee to abolish tolls. Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said Khazanah Nasional Berhad stand was clear in that it would not sell its stake in Plus because if this deal went through, there was no guarantee the company would be able to reduce the toll rates or abolish the toll.
Sebab bagi private sectors, dia profit oriented punya approach. Dia nak beli sesuatu yang boleh memberikan keuntungan. Kita bukan soal keuntungan. Khazanah melalui EPF dan juga EPF, dia nak memberikan khidmat kepada pengguna jalan raya. So kecuali ada pihak swasta yang nak membeli Plus tapi dia nak hapuskan tol. Good luck to you. Kalau you boleh dapat.
He also reiterated Khazanah's stand that it is not keen on selling its stake in Plus, although several takeover proposals have been submitted to the government by several private entities. On other highways, Datuk Seri Azmin said the government is still discussing with all highway concessionaires in phases to decrease the burden of road users. Earlier, Khazanah Nasional Berhad's Managing Director, Datuk Syahril Ridza Ridwan, once again reiterated that the company is not interested to sell Plus Malaysia Berhad.
I think Tun already mentioned basically that none of those offers are particularly attractive, so I'll leave it at that. Well, like I mentioned, right, we are not in the mood of actually selling the asset, and we actually haven't got any kind of bidding process going on. I don't think our stand has changed.
Meanwhile, Widad Business Group Sdn Berhad, WG, an integrated facility management and construction conglomerate, revised upward its offer for Plus Malaysia Berhad in a presentation to the Works Ministry on Tuesday. WBG, in a statement, said it was now proposing to acquire 100% equity interest in Plus for 5.3 billion ringgit in cash consideration, in addition to the compensation waiver of 3.038 billion ringgit and debt assumption of 30 billion ringgit, bringing the total enterprise value of the offer to 38.338 billion ringgit. The revised offer also contains 2 more additional clauses, namely waiver of the 11 billion ringgit sukuk guarantee by the government and a new option for the government to buy back Plus after 10 years based on market valuation. It said this latest offer by WBG is currently the highest bid from the private sector. According to news reports, the government had received 3 acquisition proposals for Plus. Maju Holdings had its bid for Plus at an enterprise value of 34.9 billion ringgit including debts, while RJR Capital and Tan Sri Halim Saad for 3.5 billion ringgit and 5.2 billion ringgit respectively. Taiping has been selected for the implementation of the first phase of the age-friendly City at Taiping pilot project. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the pilot project would involve a development planning process that was expected to take 2 years. The pilot project was drafted by the Women, Family and Community Development Ministry in collaboration with Perak Government, Taiping Municipal Council and United Nations Development Programme towards establishing an age-friendly city in Taiping.
UNDP actually provided us assistance to the tune of $267,000 to implement this project in Taiping. This is a pilot project that is to develop a set of localized recommendation and action plan in Taiping for the aged. And it is very apt because Taiping means town of everlasting peace.
She added that a comprehensive study will be carried out on Taiping's current status as an age-friendly city based on international guidelines issued by the World Health Organization, and the results would be compiled to develop a national comprehensive framework adjusted to local needs that could be adapted elsewhere. Perak is expected to become the oldest state in Malaysia in 2020 when the senior population reaches 385,000 or 14.9% of the estimated 2.6 million total population. Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said the country would reach the age nation status by 2030 with a percentage of people aged 60 and above at 15.3%. Now on to the Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak's 1MDB trial. The High Court was told on Wednesday that Petrosaudi Saudi International (PSI) CEO Tariq Obaid received a handsome $85 million or 356 million ringgit in commission for the joint venture between PSI and One Malaysia Development Berhad. The payment was channeled to Tariq's bank account from Good Star Limited, a company that was initially said to be a subsidiary of PSI, but later revealed to be owned by fugitive financier Low Taek Joe. Former 1MDB CEO Datuk Shahrul Azral Ibrahim Halmi, during cross-examination, agreed that a name stated on the document shown by lead counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah was Tariq Esam Obaid, who received the credit from Good Star. Tan Sri Shafi also showed bank documents where $85 million was paid from Good Star to Obaid's JP Morgan bank account on October 5, 2009, noting that JP Morgan had recorded the incoming payment as commission received by client for JV deal. Datuk Shahrul then calculated $85 million as being slightly over 10% of the $700 million before agreeing with Tan Sri Shafi that the amount was quite high as commission for a joint venture. The ninth witness also testified that he was not aware that $85 million was paid to Obaid in a matter of days after the $700 million sum went out from 1MDB for investment in the joint venture, also confirming he had not known of this commission arrangement or that Good Star was actually owned by Jolo. Tan Sri Shafi also pointed out that Obaid's bank account statement showed a $33 million subsequently being paid out around October 20th to October 21st, 2009 to his fellow PSI official, Patrick Mahoney, who also sat in the joint venture company's board and was involved in dealings with 1MDB for the joint venture deal. Datuk Shahrul said he did not know of these payments, with Obaid taking $85 million and channeling $33 million to Mahoney, and confirmed being surprised when told by Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission during 2018 investigations on 1MDB. The trial before High Court Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira resumes on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Selangor police on Wednesday disposed of over 143 tons of drugs worth 7.3 billion ringgit at Quality Alam Sdn Berhad Waste Management Centre in Bukit Pelanduk, Negeri Sembilan. These drugs were seized from Gombak, Klang Utara and Kajang from 2003 to 2017.
Jadi dadah-dadah ini tergolong dalam kategori ketamin, methamphetamine, heroin, kokain, heroin 5 serta bahan-bahan kimia seperti ephedrine. Jadi pihak kami akan melupuskan dadah-dadah ini di Kualiti Alam.
He added that the drugs were seized from drug laboratories as well as individuals. Datuk Nur Azam also revealed that Selangor police had arrested 16,318 drug addicts and dealers from January to September this year. At the same time, 35 officers and police in Selangor were detained for various drug offences in Op Blue Devil so far. Man charged for allegedly sodomizing wife. This and more home stories when we return. Welcome back. A man was charged at the Kuala Kanger Sessions Court on Wednesday for allegedly committing 104 unnatural sex acts by sodomizing his wife. The accused, 42, also faced 7 molest charges involving 3 of his daughters, aged 12, 10 and 5, between May and June 2019. The man, who works as a driver, allegedly sodomized his 37-year-old wife 2 to 3 times a day from March 1st to June 3rd at their home in Sungai Siput, Perak. He is being charged under Section 377C of the Penal Code, which carries a sentence of not less than 5 years and a maximum of 20 years jail and whipping if convicted. He is also charged for molesting his 3 daughters at the same location. The man pleaded not guilty to all 111 charges read before Judge Rohaida Ishaq. The court denied bail and set November 28th for a mention. In Terengganu, the remains of 14-year-old Muhammad Daniel Danish Muhammad Jasmine, who drowned while swimming with a group of friends in the Terengganu River on Tuesday, has been found. The body of the Form 2 student was found floating near Kampung Seberang Tuan Cik in Kuala Nerus at about 11 a.m., just about 50 meters away from where he had disappeared. Kuala Terengganu Fire and Rescue Department Chief Roziza Abni Hajar said a team of 50 rescuers, assisted by a tracker dog, participated in the search and rescue operation. Muhammad Daniel's body was sent to Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital in Kuala Terengganu for post-mortem. Elsewhere, the body of a 42-year-old man who allegedly jumped from the Sultan Yahya Petra Bridge into the Kelantan River on Monday was recovered on Tuesday night. Darul Naim Fire and Rescue Department Chief Muhammad Rizwan Ali said the body was found under the bridge by rescuers at about 9:50 p.m. The victim, a car salesman believed to be suffering from depression, was said to have left his motorcycle on the bridge before jumping into the river. The body was sent to Raja Perempuan Zainab II Hospital for post-mortem. A mobile phone shop operator was fined 8,250 ringgit by the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court on Wednesday for storing 55 pornographic videos on his smartphone. Magistrate Nur Farahain Razlan imposed the sentence after Si Fu Hong, age 36, pleaded guilty to the offence. The offence, framed under Section 292 of the Penal Code, carries a jail term of a maximum of 3 years or a fine or both upon conviction. Prosecuting Officer Nazrul Nizam Zameri from the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, pressed for a deterrent sentence as a lesson not only to the accused but also the public. However, Si's lawyer, KT Tang, pleaded for leniency as this was the accused's first offence, and furthermore, he had a family to support. UK heads for general election in bid to break Brexit deadlock. Details after this breather. We're back with the foreign news. In the United States, a mass shooting struck a Halloween party in Long Beach, California, killing at least 3 people and injuring 9 others. According to the authorities, the police is on the hunt for the suspects who are still at large. The incident occurred at a home located in the 2700 block of 7th Street in the Southern California city at around 10:40 p.m. local time. According to witnesses, 2 hooded suspects stormed the house and fired up to 30 shots before they fled the scene. 3 men were found dead in the backyard, while 9 others were taken to local hospitals, with 5 of them in serious condition. All the victims appear to be in their 20s. The motive for the attack was not immediately clear. The United Kingdom is set to go to the polls on December 12 after members of Parliament backed Prime Minister Boris Johnson's call for an election in a bid to break the Brexit impasse. It was Johnson's 4th attempt in the House of Commons to secure an early general election. The legislation was approved by a margin of 438 votes to 20, paving the way for the first December election since 1923. The bill will now go to the House of Lords, Parliament's upper house, for further debate on Wednesday, although this is unlikely to derail the decision made by MPs in the lower chamber. The last national vote in 2017 ended in a hung parliament, making it difficult for the government to pass legislation. This time, however, the ruling Conservatives will hope to gain a clear majority, allowing them to push through their Brexit plans.
Order.